Welcome to a new season of 602 Rose Show, where we cover Bachelor and Bachelorette from a fantasy standpoint. This is going to be for Gabby and Rachel's season, episode 1, the first night, the huge night where all the guys come through and have a shtick or a gimmick and find a way to earn a first impression rose. We, of course, play all of our fantasy on the Rose League, theroseleague.com, the Rose League app. Proud to work with and partner with them. It is the best solution for week-to-week fantasy Bachelor Bachelorette. So this show deals a lot with that. We also do Fantasizr season long, and we're also going to play some different games this season. We're bringing that to you in some sort of format, not exactly sure what yet. If you haven't watched the first episode of Champagne and Thorns, our new Bachelorette review show, pause this video. I won't be mad. Head on over to there. They did a full breakdown of all the guys that are going to be at the mansion night 1. Just some thoughts and feelings, and the girls really had a good time with it. So I'm not going to take you through all 30, but you can definitely catch that breakdown. It's a lot. It's a lot. So really for us, the Rose League setup, for those of you that don't know, it's similar to daily fantasy sports in that you have a salary cap. You have to pick X number of guys. For the first episode, it's 6. You need to build a roster of 6 based on variable pricing and try to score as many fantasy points as you can in categories like who kisses the bachelorettes, who swears, who takes their shirts off, who has a proper gimmick. All the scoring can be found in the app. And we'll actually post a link to that as well down in the description. The nice thing about week 1 is that everyone is $16. There's no points to base anything off of. You can pick any 6, and you can actually get yourself whoever you please. That is not always the case. As scoring progresses through the year, you sometimes won't be able to buy all the guys you want. But night 1, free for all. You can have whoever you want. General rule of thumb is you don't want guys to get eliminated. There are, of course, exceptions to that. If you played Clayton's season, some screwy things happened on night 1, and you ended up having huge points and actually couldn't have a perfect roster without people who got sent home. So weird quirks happen. Be aware of the scoring system. As always, know your rules, whether it's on Rose League or a different site entirely. But know the ins and outs of that. The big thing is just making sure that you can capitalize on points. You really got to be watching trailers. You got to dig in and take a look. I'll give you my lineup for this week. We do not have the second first impression rose. With 2 bachelorettes, there's going to be 2 first impression roses. We know one. That's Avon. Oh, yeah, sorry. Spoiler alerts to this show. If you're watching this show for picks, it's all spoilers. I went a little chalky. I took 5 guys that are in the final 4s for these girls. So Avon, Eric, Johnny, Zach, and Tino. Eric, we see a lot of screen time already. James is my 6th man. He's had a ton of screen time, and he's got that twist coming up where he rejects Rachel and says that he's here for Gabby. So I'm banking on James making a good impression on both women. Really, we're trying to catch that second first impression rose without having the data. So that's my lineup there. It's more of a longevity play. I haven't seen a whole lot. There's not a whole lot out on episode 1. So because it's a little thin, what we're going to do this week and every week is give you some contrarian picks, something a little bit different. So you have something to balance it against. My picks are always spoiler based, always strategy based on the way the producers like to portray the show. Give you another set of picks so that you can kind of decide for yourself where you want your risk to be, because really a lot of this is just risk tolerance. Marie from Champagne and Thorns was nice enough to give us her picks for this week. And hers are very different than mine. The only one we doubled up on was Johnny. She has Jordan, Nate, Logan, Jordan, Johnny, and Jason. A lot of these guys have intros that we've seen. Jordan V's the race car driver. He shows his race car. So you're going to score points. There's also more footage on all these guys. So we know that they go further into the season, which is what you want. If they end up having the rose ceremony episode 1, you got to get those roses. Wouldn't be shocked if they bounce us and don't give us a rose ceremony till next week, but we'll see how that goes. Just looping back general strategy week to week, you got to be flexible. You have to be paying attention to draw in as much data as you possibly can. If you're trying to win Rose League, if you're playing for fun with your friends, you don't need to do any of that. But if you're trying to win and be competitive at the upper tier, got to be watching the episodes, got to be watching the spoilers, and you really should be watching Rose Show because I think as a group we put 9 entries in the top 40 and 3 entries in the top 10 last season alone. The formula works. The picks are great. I like to think I'm interesting to listen to. Every once in a while, we'll grab some guests. Like I said, we have our new review show, Champagne and Thorns, right here on the channel, on our YouTube. And that'll cover more of like the breakdown of what happens in the actual episodes. Rose Show's picks, fantasy picks. This will probably be the longest episode of the whole season. Because we're not going to recap all the rules and the strategy. We're going to get down and dirty. We're going to break down the picks and why we're making them. And that's what Rose Show is going to be about. So, Champagne and Thorns for your gossip and review. Rose Show for picks. So, thank you for joining me today on 602 Rose Show. Good luck this season. And be on the lookout for Fantasizr season-long content coming up. Thanks for joining me.